Welcome back, WNS in Baltimore, Maryland. For some, as Mike Mussina goes into the Hall of Fame, you know, Bill Cole and I are old school Balmer guys. His roofing group's been doing it for 100 years now, and I'm 50. I know you're a little younger than me, Bill, but you're a Mussina guy. Between me and Luke, you sit, and Alan McCallum, people a little younger than me, a little older than my son. My son loved Mussina. You were more toward the adolescent, collegiate into your 20s sort of Mussina guy than being a kid like maybe Luke was with Dad at Camden Yards when Moose was shutting him down in the 90s. But dude, this is the end of the road for baseball lore in Baltimore, right? This is the last guy who'll go into the Hall of Fame, and I'm trying to be positive and upbeat, and, all the Van Halen concerts and Bon Jovi and Def Leppard concerts I went to with Mussina and having a good time. We were the same age. I love Mike, and I'm happy he got in because I think he deserves it. And then it peels open that scab of Yankee hat or Oriole hat, right, Bill Cole?
Well, I hope that's not even really a conversation. I would.
Oh, but it is.
Yeah, that's terrible. That
You think it's an Oriole hat?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Says the guy from South Baltimore.
Well, sure, slightly biased, but I think that he became, a frontline all-star as an Oriole. He remained that way, and then, there was some other stuff at the end, but I get whatever. That stuff doesn't. I think more to your point of depression is the idea that there's nobody behind him that we have to look forward to.
Well, the funniest thing about Mussina is you sort of, there was that period of really disliking him for some people, and then there's the reality settling in that it's the creep who owns the team, really. It's not Mike Mussina, who never wanted to leave, and I knew that. His brother was my roommate, dude. You know what I mean? I know most of what there is to know about that era. Now, I haven't talked to Mike in a decade because it's just Mike's coaching basketball and it's what he does, and Mark joins me once in a while, but it really does sort of open up the where are we? We lost 115 last year. We're rebuilding. They got Fan Fest this week. Bill, they don't have their tickets on sale, man. They're preaching that they fixed the place, and it's because they've trotted out Eddie Murray and Brooks Robinson for autograph. I mean, it's mind-blowing, dude. And all of that beyond the thing that now we feel romantic a little bit about Mussina. At least I did on Tuesday night. I didn't shed a tear, but I definitely had, a lump in my throat and a moment and thinking about him and his wife and his kids and Mark and these pictures that I'm putting up of us 25 years ago and how much fun we had, because we had a lot of fun. And I know, and I want to say this for everybody out there, because I know it was brought up. And did you ever interact with Mussina? Did you ever get an autograph, a picture, bump into him? But you were a fan, right? You were a Moose guy.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think I ever crossed paths, but he was. You got to understand. So for me, it was like Eddie Murray in the beginning with Cal.
How old are you? Because that would tell me everything. I don't even know.
40.
You're 40. Okay, all right. So you really are sort of right between my son. Okay, so you were born in 78, right? So that would make that was Eddie Murray rookie year. So 83, you were really little, right? So you were 5. See, Luke was born the week of the World Series of 83. Right?
Yeah.
So you have a memory of it. I was, 15 years old with my dad in the upper deck at Veterans Stadium when it happened, and so I have a different association. But so Brooks was kind of tired and old, when I started watching baseball, and it was more about Eddie and then Cal, and then you really had all of Cal, right?
Yeah, it was Eddie when I was little. And Cal was there, right? But then Cal bridges the gap till you get to Mussina. I mean, and there's other guys there, but none that were really good, right? None that were like those.
No, I loved Fred Lynn. I loved Brady Anderson.
Joe Ursula.
Yeah, but I loved George Brett. I loved Mike Schmidt. I drove to Philadelphia to see Fernando Valenzuela pitch or to see Doc Gooden pitch because that's what you had to do back then. It was more fun that way, quite frankly. But here we are. So Mussina goes in, and you feel what? What do you feel?
I just think it's cool. I didn't think about it the way you opened with it, like, hey, you better enjoy this one because there's nobody else, waiting to go in. And that's interesting because you're really, as a team, in a position where you could conceivably never have another one because you have the scenario of Manny Machado every time, right? Like, yeah, sure, you have potential Hall of Fame guys that come through the team, but they're there for one contract, and then they're gone. So, yeah, I mean, how will we celebrate Manny Machado if he goes to the Hall of Fame one day?
Or they're a guy like Flacco and they come in and, they actually win every year and throw the game-winning pass and the kicker misses the kick and he comes back the next year and wins it anyway and he gets another contract and everybody bitches about how much money he got and then they kick his ass out the door and leave him on the end of the bench when a player – you know what I mean? Like, so there's all sorts of pathways for this to go. The Ray Lewis last ride, happy ending, go to the Hall of Fame, do not pass go, like all that.
Right.
That is the fairy tale, and Ray Lewis was not a fairy tale, as the orange jumpsuit would tell you, and the aftermath of whatever the rest of his life is, which is really where I start to judge people. And, I guess for the Orioles and for the franchise, it brings this thing into full circle for anybody our age, because younger people have no association with Mussina other than having a Yankee hat on, right? I mean, If you came along a little later, you might have missed the whole thing. And I'm still trying to circle to where baseball is in my life. And I talked to Luke about this. I am incredibly emotional about Mussina, so much so that I almost want to get in the car and drive up there on the 21st, maybe put a bus together. I don't know. It didn't occur to me that there might be 50 people who want to go see Mike Mussina get in the Hall of Fame. And then it might occur to me that Mariano Rivera's going in, and it's going to be one giant hill of pinstripes. There are going to be 125,000 Yankee fans, some of them wearing Mussina stuff, quite frankly. Sure. And then there's going to be maybe 32 knuckleheads meeting in White Marsh to get on a bus with coffee like you and me and going up there in an orange hat and standing in the corner and waving at Mussina, who was, by the way, also a Yankee, and that'll be brought out. So it's going to be a big Yankee thing, so
it doesn't sound very appealing.
It does not sound like something I'm going to be able to get 38 people on a bus to do, but I may, for my emotions and based on whatever access they would give me there, and I think Jeff Idelson likes me and would give me access as well, and they always have been good to me, and my last name's Aparicio, and blah, 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 blah. Maybe I get some, I don't know, but it would be fun for me one time, like it was to hoist the Stanley Cup, and I haven't watched the hockey game since. It would, because I'm unhitching my wagon. As you know, I'm trying to save Baltimore, but don't tell anybody, please.
I just think if it's the last Oriole, then that's an interesting sort of risk. Like I've never
the last dinosaur, like an albino rhinoceros, or I don't know, something, right?
Yeah, and maybe that is part of the bigger problem where we talk about the younger generations not really being into sports the same way the older generations were. If you don't have childhood heroes, guys that are on your team for their whole life, how do you have lifelong fans? Like, you have to make that connection with the player, some player, somewhere along the way.
Kids make that connection on gambling now if they're involved at all, or in fantasy, in some sort of the engagement process. I get to play too. You know what I mean? That Buck Showalter is not going to, or excuse me, Brandon Hyde, he's the manager, everyone, just so you know, that he's not making the decision. I'm making the decision. I hold this in my hand. I'm going to make the decision. I want him to pitch the damn ball and stop grabbing his nuts and getting out and grabbing the rosin bag and going over to the on-deck circle and swinging the donut and stepping out of the box and being the human rain. All of that for a 20-year-old. My kid's 34. My kid hasn't gone to a baseball game that I know of in a decade. And my kid has a Mike Mussina drive sign over his bed, and he's 34 and married, for crying out loud,
Right.
But I don't know that my son's going to want to get in the car and go up and deal with Yankee Land to honor Moose. But my son might want to do it one last time to and I said this literally to Luke. I said, unhitch my trailer to baseball. I feel like my trailer is hitched on the back of the car, and I've been driving baseball around. Baseball drove me, and now I'm driving baseball. And I'm wondering, it's kind of heavy in the back. It's not good on gas mileage. It's 162 games a year. Nobody else cares about it. Why do I care about it? Because my last name's Aparicio? Because I own a sports radio station? Because I used to like Mike Mussina? Because they used to let me in? Because they used to win? Because it used to be affordable? Because it used to be fun to come downtown? It used to be fun to have heroes? It used to be fun to root for Mike Mussina. What is it now? And that's the $1 million question. We're trying to get people back to Baltimore. You know what, Bill? People used to think Baltimore was beautiful, and the aquarium, and Don Schaefer jumps in the harbor with a duck, and the Science Center, and the Camden Yards, and Cal Ripken, and hotels and events and things. And then it's, I'm on to lacrosse now. Skippy's going to play soccer this year. Skippy's into virtual video games and gaming, and he's going to buy into Ted Leonsis' online e-gaming nerd platform where nobody leaves the house. I don't know, man. Where's baseball in all of this, and where's Mussina in all this? I don't know, but for a day, I swear to God, Bill, I'm trying not to be cynical, and I'm trying to say, you know what? This Mussina thing's pretty cool, and I want to go up to Cooperstown, and then the fracture begins. Bill, he got in the Hall of Fame, and before I could reach for my phone, and as you know, sitting at Riley's Oyster and having a few oysters and beer, I looked down at my phone. My wife said, I meant to point this out. Mussina got in the Hall of Fame. I just got your text, and I didn't look down at my phone. And before I could even get to my Facebook, Bill, what was the first question? Yankee hat or Oriole hat, right? And then that opens up the, well, how did he wind up with the Yankees to be? Why are we making? Oh, that's right. The white rhinoceros in the middle of the room that nobody talks about. The owner and how he screwed the team up. Well, it's, that was 20 years ago. I mean, things are better now. I mean, they lost 115 games and they're going to lose 100 for the next 3. Okay. Well, you know what? I mean, Mussina goes in as a Yankee. That's cool. We're going to have... Oh, that's right. Machado's not going to go in as an Oriole either. So, you start to think about all this. And then you get back to the reality of, they have Fan Fest. Right. I can't even buy tickets, and the only autograph I can get is Eddie Murray, and he's sold out, and Brooks, and then you start to say, all right, what am I engaging with here with baseball right now?
Do the kids go free next year? That's all I really want to know. I need to plan around that.
Well, then I go back to, didn't I have some good times with Mike Mussina? And let's go to Cooperstown and have some fun, drink some beer,
right,
And then I can feel that's my salve, but there's no salving what this is and what Oriole hat or Yankee hat, Ness. What do you think? And when you have to say to Mussina, Oriole hat or Yankee hat, what do you think? I mean, everybody around here thinks Oriole hat, right, or whatever, but it really does peel back the onion of what's gone wrong here over the last 2 decades and how maybe the empty city is also part and parcel of an empty soul of a baseball team on summer nights because that thing was built to bring people downtown, as I pointed out during Free the Birds in 2006. So,
yes, it's an added benefit, but you and I both know from a number of conversations that I don't know that that's at the core of the issue or the thing that changes. If that team was winning, I'm still, go back. We were in the playoffs not too long ago, and it was like sort of a flash in the pan. And I don't know that we're going to solve society's love or hate or disinterest in baseball as a sport. You just have to figure out how much of that is like real or temporary, or, is this just
who's going to fix it?
Thing?
It's the same question I'm asking about the city. Who is going to be the Larry Lucchino and the Marty Conway of fixing the Orioles? Who is going to be the visionary? Who is going to be the Don Schaefer that saves Baltimore and brings people back to said city where said ballpark is to feed said businesses like Reggie's going out of business 6 blocks from my house that I drank in 150 times? That's not there anymore, and I walk by it every day on the way to yoga and think, who's going to be the person that fixes my Reggie fries and hooks me up with tater tots again, because that's got to happen. People need to come back to Baltimore. People need to come back to the ballpark. They need to want to come downtown. And at the heart of that, the business owner needs to give them tater tots that are good, beer that is cold, cheer that is good. The city needs to have streets that are safe. And if John Angelos wants to be a part of that, then do what Tony Robbins told me to do last month. Step up, So when are they going to step up? That's what I'm asking, because this Mussina thing, the first question is Yankee hat or Oriole hat? John and Lou and John Vitalin and Brandon Hyde and Marco Gentile, you all have to wear that. You have to wear that. Yankee hat or Oriole hat for Mike Mussina. That's your product. That's your brand, you know? And Bill, I don't know what the answer is, but feeling good about Mike Mussina going in or whatever it is, the Baltimore and the baseball part, they used to be synonymous, and it really did jump the shark after Mussina, right? Like, literally to let him get away 20 years ago was blasphemous to anyone paying attention locally, right? And then what happened that led to Free the Birds in '06 and everything in the aftermath and the miracle of Buck, as I've written about and talked about the last couple of years. But all that's over again now, right? This might have felt different 5 years ago if we had been to the ALDS and the feelings about the Orioles might have been different. It's rock bottom all over again, right? And I don't know what they're going to do about it. I'm just going to talk honestly about it. I don't have a solution.
In better news, I think that despite the Terps kind of laying down to Michigan State, I think they are a really good team, and I'm excited to watch them for the next 2 months.
Yeah,
I think they have a chance to do something pretty special. So
I want to see Bruno Fernando, and I want to see these guys play better at home. Right? Like, they're going to get another shot here later on. They're going to get Michigan. They're going to have other big games. I was disappointed that Ward was on the bench and they couldn't figure it out at all. And they got back into 2020, and then it just went off the cliff. They couldn't make shots. And making shots on the road where there are 15 deep, angry green and white fans breathing down on you, that is a very, very unique environment to go shoot a basketball. That's the whole gig on the road in basketball, is keeping your head about you when it's really, really loud and in an environment that you've probably never been in, and you won't be in March, by the way, either, right? You know, in March, those March Madness games are always sleepy and quiet and, you know, off on an island somewhere, literally, that these are the hardest games. The hardest thing you're going to do all year, and if I was Turgeon before the game, is win this game, and they didn't meet that challenge. That doesn't mean that they stink, because I'm with you. They're exciting. They're worth watching. They got 3 really good players. They got 5 good rotational guys that come in. They're not consistent, but they're 19 years old. I'm 50 and I'm still not consistent. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I think this was a part of the journey, right? This was part of the path. When your best players have off nights and can't do anything, it provides an opportunity for the other guys to take some shots and to try and create and make some things happen. And prior to this, none of those guys really had to do anything, because when it mattered, they either threw it into Fernando or Callan just tried to go off. So
yeah, they've turned Morcell into a defensive player, and he has some offensive skills, but isn't using them. You know, on a different team, he'd be the star. He'd be the go. You know what I mean? And I think there is some unselfishness.
I think you're going to see him a lot, because he's the slasher, get to the rim, and you know, I don't know. I think it was fun. I think that there were stretches that showed they can play with anybody in the country. So it's just how much they can get better between now and then. And, you know, it wouldn't shock me if they were a Sweet 16 team. And then if you get there, it's like, you know, a couple shots go your way. Who knows what could happen?
You haven't plugged your roofing company. You want to do that or not? 100 years, you should say something about Cole Roofing.
Yeah, 100 years.
I hear they're our sponsor.
Think, you know, we're finally going to try and put some communication around it and start talking about it out in the universe. So maybe we actually talk to enough people that people might see some stuff. We've been doing some videos and trying to get lots of photos and doing our good civic job of sharing about the 100 years. I think we're all really excited. I think my people are all really excited. It's quite an accomplishment, and the list of thank yous is longer than you can imagine. And even with that, and you spend all this time trying to think about it, you're still going to miss people. So I'm just going to spend the next year trying to say thank you to everybody I can, because it really does, take a village. And to the last 100 years, that means there were a lot of good people that we came in contact with and we got to provide services for, or they helped us provide services, or they came and built with us, so it's really a big, big mission of saying thanks to all the people that helped us do it.
Can I provide a marketing service for you that comes along with your WNST, our partnership and friendship here? I just Googled what the 100th anniversary is called. It says a Diamond Jubilee is the 75th anniversary. Because I was thinking, like, first anniversary, you give someone paper, right? You know, all these goofy things, right?
Yeah,
but nobody's
sure.
ever married 100 years, so, like, I don't, you know, what do you give somebody for their 100th birthday? I guess you give them schmuckers if you watch NBC in the morning. So it says here the 100th year anniversary is traditionally called the centennial, the centenary, or, and this is what I'm giving you. This is your gift. You ready? The Platinum Jubilee. So we're going to call this, we're going to start, it's Cole Roofing's Platinum Jubilee. All right? I'm working on
that. That sounds expensive.
I just gave it to you for free.
Yeah, I know.
I stole it from the internet, man.
I'm not sure what comes after that. So
I don't even think it's trademarked, so you can have it.
Remember, we're still in commercial roofing here, right? So, you know.
Well, I don't know. It's my first shot at it. Let me work on Platinum Jubilee. I'll come up with something off of that. Platinum Roofinum Jubilee. I don't know. I'm whiteboarding. Bill Cole, Cole Roofing. He is out there at coleroofing.com. You can always email me. You can email him and find us. And we sit here and talk about civic issues and stuff like Mike Mussina and how much we love sports. I am Nestor. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. We're going to be in Atlanta. Super Bowl 53. Georgia World Congress all next week. I promise Shannon Sharp will be joining us, and that's all you need to know. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.